Yo, what's up? Mizzle pishvlees and scribble snizhneys. I've been working diligently. Mr. Wonderful! I'm very boring. I'm very staid in the trenches, just doing my best to put this new rig together. Anyway, I think it sounds pretty good. So anyway, I'll give you the rundown a little bit. So this is a new rig that I've built based upon my old rig, and the old rig was the DX7 2 FD on the bottom and this DS8 on the top. And I used the two of those, and the DX was on a stand. So I would play in the DX here and the DS8, and so I added the Rhodes to the bottom and did a lot of work getting this Rhodes to sound really professional. And then I built this custom shelving, which is better and more functional than commercial keyboard products that you buy to try to stack your keyboards up and make them convenient to play. So I just built my shit out of wood. And so it started with 3, building the shelves for the DX actually is just sitting right on the lid of the Rhodes. But I had to build a little ledge here to balance it out because I can't stand it when the keys bounce around when I play. They have to be solid. That's my number one goal, is no movement in any of the keyboards when you're playing. I have a little intermediary shelf here that's housing my Oberheim organ module. Here are my different presets with Leslie. So I can get to it the way I have it set up. If this J.L. Cooper MIDI patch bay lets you assign whatever you want to whatever you want. So whichever controller and whatever sound module, that's the beauty of the J.L. Cooper I replaced these, and I've been programming them. That's been really what I've been doing. So I have lots of different setups of sounds. So this is just a basic one that has. This is the Korg SG rack. Playing a synth brass patch, which is nice for solos, with a little bit of DX7 picked guitar and accordion laid in underneath. And the DX is in stereo because it runs through this Roland digital delay. And then, of course, the organ is the over high Mobi 3 is being triggered from the DS8. And I can turn the Leslie on with this pedal. And then the Rhodes on the bottom. And the Rhodes is going through 3 different effects. So not only does it have the Retro Flyer preamp in it, so I can turn on tremolo if I want. And change the speed of the tremolo and the depth of it, you know, for that vintage. The Retro Flyer provides active output for the Rhodes. So it has its own power supply. It's a wonderful thing, the Avion Studio Retro Flyer. Getting the most sound out of your Rhodes and high quality bandwidth. But I always wanted to experiment with putting real stomp boxes on the Rhodes, and I've never had a chance to do that in my entire life because I normally would play the Rhodes through the Leslie 60s, which was no reverb, but it had its own space generator. So this was the first time I've been able to do that. So now I got the Rhodes going through the Boss pedals. So we all know the Rhodes CE2 stereo chorus, which I have set to extremely slow and not very deep, so it's just a very subtle stereoization of the Rhodes sound. But you hear it certainly when I turn it off. But I think that the Rhodes sound is beautiful almost enough by itself. But we always traditionally in the studio, they've always either put it through a phase shifter or a chorus. And I also, because the CE3 is stereo, one of its dry send feeds an auto-wah, a Roland auto-wah, right, which is an envelope filter, which has modulation in it. So when you hit it, it opens the filter up a little bit, and I've got that dialed in really subtly and kind of panned to one side. Whack, whack, whack. It's over kind of to the right, and I take a little bit of mids out of it, and it has some reverb on it. So those are really nice for the Rhodes. I will say I think it's one of the nicest Rhodes you'll ever find. And then to sprinkle the sugar on the top of it, I got me a Morley wah-wah pedal, so I can really get the blues sound. So pretty much all of that stuff is right at the touch of your foot or my left hand. So the Rhodes is really smoking. So it's been added. Now the weird wings that the system has grown are my KX5s, which are just such great indispensable general purpose keyboards because the key contacts in them are the same as the DX7 leaf springs. They're just, these keys are exactly the same other than just being a little bit shorter. So in terms of a small, portable MIDI controller that is expressive, I haven't found anything as good as the Yamaha KX5. So hence I have two of them. The original one that I bought way back in the 1980s from Jerry Sims. And the KX5 on the right is triggering my Prophet 600 analog synth, which also is using the Boss stereo chorus to get it a little bit fatter. And then my KX5 over here on the left, which is really turned out to be very ergonomic. I just have one bolt to hold this shelf on. Wood is so much easier. You can just custom build your shit, and you don't have to spend money on these tubes and clamps and all of that crazy stuff. So I built a shelf. This one needs to be painted. Wood. So originally when I was playing bass, the KX5 started out being on top of this ledge here, but it was in the way. You know, I couldn't get to the controls of the Rhodes. And then I had it here mounted to the bottom of the top shelf, so it was in the way of the DS8. So it ended up coming down, a new shelf being built, and I can change the angle of it. So, and I spent a fair amount of time, I think it was not today, but yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday that I built this shelf out of wood and spent a fair amount of time getting the angle so that when you play these keyboards in this configuration, they feel natural to you. They're ergonomic. They feel good to your fingers. They feel natural to your body. There's no weird contortions. And hence, that's the beginning of a very musical and playable rig. So this rig is basically pretty much brand new. So enough of the yeah, and I'm going to try to play something now. So anyway, I'm having to play with headphones to spare the neighbors, and my level, the level of the chorus channel, seems to kind of go up and down. But that gives you a little bit of a rough idea of pretty much what my rig is sounding like, which is pretty cool. So here again, this is the J.L. Cooper MSB Rev 2 MIDI-controlled patch bay, sitting here. And each one of these setups I have to program in to throw out patch changes and configurations for these controller keyboards. It's a very useful piece of equipment. Yeah.